Welcome back to Big Mouth. I'm Mick Meanus, and we're going to talk about Doctor Who. It's only 3 weeks until the brand new season of Doctor Who commences. Are you excited? From what I can see is some of us are excited, some of us are not excited, and some of us are still angry. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be like some who says it's nothing to do with the Doctor's gender. Yes, I never wanted a female Doctor, but I knew it was coming, and once it happened, I said to myself, do you know what? Forget it. Just forget it. This is Doctor Who. It's about someone who travels in a spaceship time machine. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. Go with it. And that's what I did. Unfortunately, the marketing has been absolutely terrible. Terrible. We've had very, very little revealed about the whole thing. Now, for me, Jodie Whittaker was the wrong female casting. There were so many more interesting options, and Jodie Whittaker talks about working harder to get this role than anyone else. Well, Jodie, that's not really true. You know, Chris Chibnall worked with you. You worked for Chris Chibnall on Broadchurch. You did a good job. It was easy for him to come and get you and say, let's work together. Instead of him auditioning hundreds of women, which he really should have done to get a perfect piece of casting, she was easy casting. And we haven't seen brand new Doctor Who. We haven't seen the 13th Doctor in action yet, so we're not going to judge her on that. But what I will say is, in terms of how I see the Doctor and how I see a potential female Doctor, there were some very quirky kind of options that Chris Chibnall could have chosen, and he didn't choose them. And for me, that's very disappointing. But I will say we haven't seen Jodie in action as the Doctor yet, apart from these silly little trailers, which are not great. And they're not really giving much away, and that's the way they've decided to go with it. It's all very mysterious until you hear them speak about the new season. We're talking about it being very educational, no Cybermen, no Daleks, no Master. If basically they've actually said, if you've never watched Doctor Who before, it's going to be nothing like Doctor Who's ever been before. So basically, then does that mean this isn't actually going to be Doctor Who? The only thing that's going to be Doctor Who are the titles. We've heard more rumours. We've heard rumours that they're scrapping the iconic theme tune and they're going to have a song. Again, I ain't going to judge this situation until I hear the song, because it might be in the tune of the iconic theme, and maybe that'd be kind of awesome. I'll be down with that. But I do understand that, this is an iconic theme tune. Not even Lucasfilm, with their kind of agendas, have got rid of the Star Wars theme. Why would you do that? It's absolutely insane if it's true. But again, we will see. They are trying to change what Doctor Who is. Now, we know they're going to do a lot of virtual signalling. There's going to be a lot of SJW themes here. There's going to be feminism, stuff about race. Now, the educational stuff will mainly be SJW things. So really, it's not going to be educational in the sense of that what you think. It's educational in changing attitudes and perceptions. Now, in a way, that can be viewed as a good thing and a positive thing, because we do not want people to be sexist. We do not want our children to be racist. And if we can grab them at a young age and say, this or that, but we've also got to be very careful here where we don't bring our children up to hate white people, to hate men, to hate white men, because also that's very, very dangerous. But I do support the fact of a show that has kind of had the history of being a children's show and started off as an educational show, is trying to teach children to not be hateful things that are different, to respect women, to make sure that women are treated as equally as men, and other cultures are treated as equally as white people, as long as we don't make white people to be the big bads. That's the only thing that concerns me. But ultimately, what I'm not hearing is about awesome aliens, about awesome battles, things we watch Doctor Who for. For the Doctor's intellect, is she still going to be clever? Is she going to be intelligent? You hope so. You would think with a female Doctor, they would actually want to hammer home the point that she is intelligent. So I hope she's still the Doctor of everything. So even though I never wanted a woman, I'm going in this open-minded. It's just some of the things I'm hearing are so worrying. And they're worrying for all long-term Doctor Who fans. That's why we're on here moaning. It's gone beyond the kind of frustration of it being a female. For me it is anyway. For me, it's everything I hear is worrying because it doesn't sound anything like Doctor Who. Potentially, this could be the final season of Doctor Who if they get it wrong, but they may not. They may not get it wrong. They may get it totally right. It may be the best season, the best version of the Doctor ever. That's what I want. Despite the fact I didn't want a female, I hope it's a success. There's a lot of people who want this to fail so they can say, oh, you see, you should never have cast a woman. I don't. I love Doctor Who. I'm passionate about Doctor Who. I've had the dream and ambition all my life to play the Doctor and run the show at the same time. I've got a billion ideas. And like a lot of people, there are probably a billion bad ideas. Even some people who've worked on the show have had a billion bad ideas. But that's the point, isn't it? Doctor Who opens up your mind, opens up your imagination. I love Doctor Who. I love the idea of Doctor Who. And I don't want anyone to ruin it. Because with the money that goes into it now, not only aesthetically with the CGI and the production values, but with the kind of writers and producers you can bring in with the money that they have, there should be very few mistakes. And mistakes have been made. With the Moffat era, we saw so many mistakes made there because it was all about ego. Russell T Davies, even though I recently had a little falling out with him because he had a go at me on Instagram for tagging him on a negative video about Stephen Moffat, and actually I was bigging him up, but there you go, this is the ego of these people. Russell obviously not happy because he was the one who made the decision for Moffat to run the show. And literally, just like Russell T Davies was the reason Doctor Who was so popular around the world all of a sudden, and he relaunched a fantastic version of Doctor Who. It was genius. He was really responsible for its destruction because he was the one who left it for dead and gave the job, keys to the kingdom to Stephen Moffat. So really, he is Doctor Who's biggest advocate, but he's also Doctor Who's biggest nemesis, really, because he didn't want to be in a long-running show anymore. It was just like when he blamed the fans for Torchwood Miracle Day failing because we didn't accept what he wanted to do. The BBC took it to America. They wanted to make a bunch of cash, and that they left behind the morals of Torchwood and what we loved about the show, and then we get the blame for it. But isn't this the same thing with current Doctor Who? If this fails, we'll be blamed because we were too sexist and misogynistic to actually appreciate what they were trying to do. But I'm not one of those who's not going to watch. I'm going to support this show to the bitter end. If it's really bad, I will still watch it because I love Doctor Who. I've already pre-ordered the new season before it's even aired. And as soon as it's available, because I'm here in Cyprus, I will order the episodes on Prime. So I'll get them, they'll drop each week, a day after they drop on the BBC and on the iPlayer. So because I love Doctor Who, I want this to work. But the problem with the entertainment industry right now, it's making choices not through business, but through politics. And this is where it's really suffering. Now, ultimately, it doesn't matter to me because I've got a Blu-ray collection in there, which would make a lot of you jealous. I can put anything I want. My internet goes down, I can stick Superman the movie on, or Man of Steel on, or Batman v Superman on, or a series of Doctor Who I enjoyed. Obviously, that man behind me, David Tennant's era was beautiful. Christopher Eccleston. Look, this basically, Peter Davison, Christopher Eccleston, and David Tennant in that order are my favourite Doctors of all time. Matt Smith was a very good Doctor. He slowly grew on me, even though I was a bit dubious at first. Peter Capaldi is a great actor in the worst era of Doctor Who because of the creative elements, what he was given, and it became very, very boring. And they made him seem older than what he was, if that was possible. You see, the thing that went wrong, really, with Peter Capaldi, his first episode was sensational. The way he was cussing everyone and being kind of disrespectful and rude and kind of in your face. That was brilliant. We haven't seen that in Doctor Who for such a long time. And it really worked with Capaldi. It was that kind of Dr. Gregory House kind of wit, and I really liked it. But from the second episode, Moffat copped out. Obviously, the BBC had a word in his shell light, and we went, basically, it was the Clara Oswald show. She was slapping him, threatening to hit him. other way round, and of course the BBC would have been closed down. And this is the problem with this thing that's going on with the SJWs and the feminism, and there's certain times where you can say, yeah, you see, you can take Doctor Who, you can, get the TARDIS to go in the past and say, look at, this is how feminism started, isn't it great that women were allowed to vote, people were able to vote, they fought for it, these women sacrificed their lives. Maybe Doctor Who should show us that, so we can actually see the positives of feminism and not the man hate. Now, I can understand the women back then hating us men because of what males put them through then, but women now hating men, it's totally frightening when you go online. If you go on Twitter, they literally hate us. Some of them actually want to kill us. So it really is quite frightening to be in this generation and what's going on. There's so much hate, there's so much political kind of divergence, and it's really worrying, and it's leaking into our entertainment, and they're taking over our shows. Doctor Who, the DCEU, the MCU, Disney, Star Wars, everything. They're invading stuff they have no business being involved with, and they're killing the entertainment value. So, and this new season of Doctor Who is at a precipice of what could happen. Now, they could do SJW themes, but it could be a very entertaining season. And if that's the case, I'm down with that, and I want to watch that, and I can't wait for that. But if it's just going to be, lectures talking down to us all, I'm not interested in watching that, even though, as I say, I will watch it because I love Doctor Who. I'm not that strong to not watch an episode of Doctor Who. Now, it's very interesting with Chris Chibnall, because if we go back to his final season of Broadchurch, there were many, many problems for me within that season. The simplistic look at rape, the simplistic look that basically all you had to do to stop rape is just to tell men to stop looking at porn magazines or watching porn. I saw how insulting they dealt with rape, and it was an insulting way. And I thought, this guy's coming to Doctor Who. We've got problems here, because there's going to be a lot of men blaming. A lot of putting men down. It's unavoidable, I'm afraid. This is what they're going to do. Now, they've spoken about this new Doctor Who not being just about the Doctor, but being kind of a group effort, very much focusing on the Doctor and the companions and their lives. And that is very different and very interesting. But I do watch Doctor Who for one reason and one reason only, and it's always been this way. It's for the Doctor. For some people, the companion is their way into the story. For me, I am related to the Doctor. He was this mystery person from another planet, in a spaceship, in a time machine. I'm the Doctor of everything, the Fifth Doctor used to say, which used to fascinate me. But how can you be the Doctor of everything? And he's got this knowledge. And now this Doctor, this new Jodie Whittaker Doctor, should be the same. But what they're saying is it's going to be different. Now, a smidge difference, fine. But that different isn't fine. And this is kind of, when you're writing something as iconic as Doctor Who, it's what is your agenda when you're writing it? Is it to entertain people? Is it to expand the character and give him more layers? Or is it to kind of fulfill an agenda of politics? And this is the problem with the BBC. We know about their quotas. Now, there's nothing wrong with having quotas if it promotes equality, but when it goes on to the actual thing that we watch, the quota should be about equality in sense of who works for them. But equality shouldn't be in front of your camera as much. Yes, we want to see different actors chosen, different characters from different cultures, different genders. It's great. That is great. That aspect in front of the camera is great. But when you take that and you make it your whole thing front and centre, it ruins the entertainment element. And the problem is with the entertainment industry now, it's not about entertainment anymore. It's about politics. Everyone's gone mad since Brexit and Trump's got in. Everyone's gone absolutely insane, and they're trying to make a point. And now this point's moved on to Doctor Who. So we've got this new Doctor. She is a female. We've heard her say quite a few things. We've heard her say things at Comic-Con. Which, just the things people haven't liked is a new Doctor Who symbol because it equates with feminism. We saw the glass ceiling in the trailer break. We know what that's about. They're really, they're getting a sledgehammer and they're whacking us over the head with it. And I think this is what people don't like. Now, we've got to be honest here. Although us long-running Doctor Who fans are having this debate, the mainstream audience won't give a crap. Now, it's quite obvious with their marketing that the BBC are after a young audience, children from around, I would say, 8 to 15, 16. They really want this to be a Sunday evening kids show where they sit there with their parents again. So in that element, it's going to be a bit different. It will be nothing like Moffat's era. I suppose RTD's era was very child-friendly, especially with the Slitheen, but it could be kind of dark as well. So really, but it was a show that you could sit there with your kids, but if it was dark, the kids would still enjoy it. The darkness will go above their heads, if you know what I mean. It had a balance to it. So for me, that was fine. So now we've got this situation. We've seen the Doctor with this. She grins a lot, doesn't she? She grins a lot. We're going to see a lot of positivity, not only in the way the Doctor acts, but the way the show is presented in very bright colours. It's going to be very, very child friendly. But if this is the direction they want to go with it, they can go with it. I don't know what they're going to do because all I've seen are a few clips, a few comments. I don't know what we're going to get. What I want to get is an awesome, epic series of Doctor Who where we see the Doctor having challenges and we see this unique multi-personality that the Doctor's always had, and I want to have fun with it. And if that's what Chris Chibnall brings us, I'll be very happy with that. But because we haven't seen anything, it's really hard to tell. Now, a lot of people are trying to make predictions about ratings. We know the Doctor Who ratings have been going down since Stephen Moffat took over slowly, and they got worse and worse. The Capaldi era was terrible for ratings. We all know that. People lost interest because even though the Doctor started off being played by an older actor, we're in a different time now. People do want to see a younger person there, want to see someone a bit attractive there. Unfortunately, these are the situations we're in now. So in a lot of ways, Capaldi wasn't going to really work for a mainstream audience. Jodie is attractive. She is a good actress. And I think a lot of young people are going to look up to her. There's no question about that. We have got this situation now where she's there, where you either accept it or you go away, I'm afraid. We can keep on debating whether they should have cast a female or not until we're blue in the face. We know the reasons for it. We know it's about politics. It's not about anything else but politics, but it's done. We can't fight what they did. You've just got to make a choice. Are you going to support this show? Are you going to support Doctor Who? Or are you going to let it die? Do me a favour. Don't let it die. Don't let Doctor Who die. It's special because if this season does stink and the ratings are low, are the BBC really going to come back and continue it? I don't know. It would be sad, wouldn't it, to lose Doctor Who? Doctor Who is something, as Stephen Moffat always said. For all his sins, he was right about this. Doctor Who should be around forever because it's truly a magnificent character. And that's the end of it, really. So support it. If you're a Doctor Who fan, support it. No matter how bad it is, how passionately you disagree with it, watch it, support it. And if it's bad, we can talk about that and hopefully get some change that we need for it to be a better TV show. But we don't know if it's going to be bad. That's the thing. This could be amazing. We could watch that first episode and we could say, wow, Chris Chibnall's done an amazing job. This is a great Doctor. The changes are beautiful. We don't know because we haven't seen it. And we owe Doctor Who one thing, to give it a chance. We've got to get over the fact, if we're not happy, like me, I wasn't happy about it being a female. I never wanted a female, but it's happened. And in the end, you have to say, do you know what? It's done. It's done. Let's just watch it. But I think there are people so passionately against the female Doctor, they would bite their noses off to spite their faces. And for me, guys, I don't think we should do that. if we love Doctor Who, we'll support it through these times and see what happens. Let's hope on October the 7th we're watching an awesome version of Doctor Who.